Hello and welcome to Watchin Stuff, the show about watching stuff. I'm Nero, and with me is my Canadian co-host whyboy, and today we're going a little bit indie, and that's kind of cool because in a wave of so many big motion pictures, your Disneys, your Pixars, your DreamWorks, and to a lesser extent your Blue Skies and Real Effects, you have the indie scene, which is so cool because sadly we're not seeing enough of it.
Well, at least not highly publicized. Like, today we looked at a bunch of French movies that are coming out this year, and possibly none of you have ever heard of anything on that list.
Well, to be fair, neither did we while we were looking
That
through
is
it.
true.
We just saw some things and we're like, oh no, I kind of want to see that. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. But today we're looking at a Canadian independent movie called Nova Seed.
Award-winning, by the way. It's an award-winning sci-fi animated adventure, according to the website. You could go to GordonPictures.com, you can look it up, you could even buy the movie.
We'll place that in the description below.
We'll put that in the description below. And we're not even paid to do this, but... Like, okay, whyboy, you are a reviewer, right, for Bubble Blabber?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get hired on occasion to do written reviews for Bubble Blabber.
Yes, and I got hired to do Nova Seed for them. And I wrote a review and all that, and you can see that even that on Bubble Blabber. But I wasn't.
We'll put a link in the description.
I wasn't paid to actually give it a glowing review or anything like that.
You're a reviewer.
Yeah,
man.
I was just paid to actually just give my thoughts on it and whether I would recommend it or not. And just to boil my thoughts right now, I would definitely recommend this movie just to any sort of animation fan. Because as sort of an experimental movie, it's a very interesting one. It's got its own unique art style. The story, while simplistic, it's definitely still eye-catching. And the way that it's told, it's still very interesting. But why don't you tell us the story of Nova Seed, Nero?
Nova Seed's interesting. The plot is that in the distant future of, I don't know, 20XX, like a Mega Man game, because it doesn't actually, I don't think it gives you a timeline. Yeah. But in the distant future, it's post-apocalyptic, very Mad Max inspired, and there is a new form of life that has come about called the Neos. And the Neos are these anthropomorphic animals. And of course, the humans believe they shouldn't have rights because they're not human. So it plays into that age-old story, very X-Men oriented of
you're different, you die. You're different, get out of here.
Yeah, you're different, fuck you, move on. And that's a basic rundown. There's a bit more to it. There is a mad scientist called... Oh shit, what was his name? Something Skull?
Yeah, it was... Dr. Mind Skull.
That's such a comic book villain name.
Yeah,
that's so comic booky. Dr. Mind Skull.
It sort of makes it endearing like that. It's a story as simplistic as that. It's the humans after Dr. Mind Skull and how they can beat him and stop his big evil machine that'll destroy the world.
It happens.
It happens.
So, like, Dr. Mind Skull is this mad scientist of sorts who has been cultivating this new life form to help fix the planet, to refurbish it. And in a lot of ways, the movie's very light on story. It is more driven by the animation and the sound. In a lot of ways. It's a very experimental film because films aren't done like this anymore. And part of that is obviously limited because it's an indie.
Yeah.
So, it's very, very simple. Even the animation, and I brought this up to you, we were watching it, and I was very quiet during most of the viewing, and you had asked me, what do you think? And I flat just said, man, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing is, like, I don't particularly like how the film works, but it's animated by one fucking dude.
Yeah. It's basically that sort of scratchier style that you would see in a lot of the more adult-oriented sort of cartoons. Like, you see it a little bit in BoJack Horseman, you see it in that therapist show from way back when.
Dr. Katz?
Yeah, Dr. Katz. And
do you remember? It kind of reminds me a little bit of Ed, Ed and Eddie, because Ed and Eddie used to have like the wiggle lines, on the outside of the characters before they went to like full digital.
Yeah, it's just sort of that wiggle style of everything, which sort of gives the world a little bit more of a rough edge to it that I feel, but it's definitely not for everybody.
I think the main thing was just watching it. I think this is a cool idea because I've had a similar idea. I mean, in essence, Nova Seed is a lot like my pitch on how to reboot Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It really is in so many ways, actually. It's very close. The only real difference is Dr. Mindskull invented some kind of creature to help bring life back to the planet.
Yeah, this little green girl.
Yeah, it's very Princess Mononoke with like the tree spirit kind of thing.
And also the main character in this one is a lion man named Neck.
Oh, what? Named Neck. Now, you know, because you wrote a review on it, give me your thoughts though. Like, it's not a bad film. It's definitely very experimental. That's what's really cool about it. But like, what's your takeaway?
I would say definitely in an experimental sense, it's a very interesting movie. Like before, I reviewed this other one called The Dragon Dentist, where basically the problem with that movie is that it did not explain anything, not in the animation, not in the exposition, even though they talk non-stop. But in Nova Seed, they do the same thing. They don't have much exposition into what the world is about, who these characters are. But at the same time, you do get an understanding of what's going on in this world, which I really liked. Even with the character of Neck, who's basically a silent protagonist, as you could just basically tell his emotions just through his actions. Like in the opening shot of him, he's just ripping apart this gladiator guy, and you can tell that he's a ferocious warrior who's been through a ton of these sort of battles. But then when he meets the green girl, you can see his protective side. You can see his warrior sort of drive to basically want to protect something.
Yeah, the nobility, that it's like, she's different just like I am. I don't want her to suffer the way I have.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to say a single line of that. You just see that through his actions, and you see his sort of warrior mind as he goes through battles and such. Always just wanting to stay alive. And that's sort of what I like about it. It's a story through very little dialogue for Neck. And that just is the strongest point of the movie. The weakest part of the movie is definitely still the sound design of it. Because as is an independent project, a lot of the sound design comes off very cheap. It almost sounds it sounds humorous coming from me with my crappy audio sometimes. But it sounds like if you took a can and started talking into that, and that's how you recorded half of the character dialogue.
It's strange because this was this released in 2016?
Yeah, it was 2016.
It's weird that in an era where cell phones have such great microphones, the audio could be this fucking bad.
Alright, Beast. Now get your paw up on that hand scanner.
Okay now, move in.
No joke, this is gotta be one of the worst films in terms of audio quality I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, the only one character that had the decent audio was this sort of president guy who was speaking through the TV. And that was better because you could actually think that it would sound like you were talking drug radio through it.
You would have to augment it because it's like, you know, we're watching like a character watching a television screen. So it's like, oh yeah, the audio's not going to sound that good anyways because that's the only time it works. But like any other time a character talks, it sounds fucking wretched.
It really does. It just doesn't sound like a character's coming out of them. It just sounds like the same person talking over and over again.
And I understand, indie film, you know, it's hard and expensive to fucking afford, like, voice actors and shit. I get it. That said, it still sounds fucking bad, dude. Like, I empathize with you that it's an expensive project. I empathize that, you know, you gave it your all. You get a thumbs up in my book, brother, but man almighty. Did I envy the fucking deaf during, like, the viewing of this in terms of audio. Even visual, it's, again, I know, animated by one dude. It's certainly definitely better than other Flash animations I've seen. but it's also not particularly grand. I even feel like the art design was a little under-refined. I don't know, something about it, I just look at it and I just think, like, if this was maybe, Steven Silver's art style, he's the guy who did Kim Possible, or if it was Rebecca Sugar, the woman who does Steven Universe.
Yeah, just a more cleaner art style, just a more consistent art style. Definitely would have benefited this movie, even though I feel that the art style actually works with the setting, as it's supposed to be a grimy, post-apocalyptic sort of thing.
I hear you, but it doesn't feel like the art style is like that to fit the setting. It feels like the art style is that because, motherfucker, it was animated by one guy, and it's cheap, and it's, like, Indian shit, and that's all they can afford.
Yeah, it's probably more correct, because my problem with the art style is more there are just post-added-in effects that basically are trying to hide the fact that it's supposed to be a little bit cheaper. Like there's blurs around the edges. Like the
blur?
Blur?
It's like it's shot with the video camera, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wish that the creator, Nick DiLiberto, you didn't need any of that. Like the blurs and all that sort of stuff take away from what your art style is showing. It looks like you just added that in post. It's not.
Probably did.
Yeah, it probably did, and it just takes away from the style that you already have in the show, that people like me like. Well, people like Nero did not like, but that's just sort of like a like or dislike of a certain art style.
I didn't even entirely hate the character designs. Like, I thought Knack looked fine. I've never been the one to design a character where they have, like, the Speedo or the trunks kind of look.
Yeah.
Because he had, like, bare legs. And that's a personal preference of mine. I never liked superhero designs that have that. It's like Plastic Man. Plastic Man has, like, a great character design, and then he's got these bare legs, and you're just like...
those smooth legs.
You literally have legs for taste, because he's a Plastic Man. I thought Knack's design was cool. I think a lot of the character designs are cool. Like, Dr. Mindskull has a really cool... He's very creepy. It's a very creepy-looking villain design that seriously stands out. But, like, I just can't help but think, like, with the different art style, I bet a lot of these designs would look even better.
Yeah.
Like, they look fine, but it's like, there's something here. If it was just pushed a little bit, I bet it could be even better.
Yeah.
And, like, I really hope, is it DiLiberto?
Nick DiLiberto.
Nick, I doubt you'll see this, but, brother, you gotta keep going.
You really do.
You gotta keep doing this. Like, try and go with a slightly bigger company. Now, precaution is that bigger company means bigger money from the investors, which means they might try to pull more over on you. And the importance of the indie scene is that you do get more power. But a little money can really elevate this idea. Matter of fact, me personally, dude, go full graphic novel with this. Go on to Kickstarter, get yourself a fantastic artist. This could be a really great graphic novel. And the reason I believe that is because when it comes to animation, you're limited by budget, primarily. With a comic or a graphic novel, you're only limited by your imagination. And I bet you could tell this story better in the printed form. Because on top of that, in terms of the printed form, there's a less censorship potential quality. Because sometimes certain studios, depending on where you go, they might try to censor some things because they don't like it. They don't want to upset a certain group or subsect of people or an audience of some kind. Whereas with, like, the printed one, you can get away a lot more. It's a little bit more lenient in that category. I mean, I think manga is a prime example of that. Like, Bleach alone, there's so much more under-tit shot in the Bleach manga than there is in the anime adaptation, where, like, you see a character in the anime, and it's like, man, that chick's got some serious under-boob action going. But then, like, you go over to, like, the anime, and it's like, nah, man, she fucking covered up. You ain't getting no under-boob action whatsoever. It's a serious thing, though. Like, animation, because it's being released to a huge public, and if it's a bigger named company of some sort, they tend to censor stuff in association. Like, you've seen, like, how 4Kids did frickin' One Piece definitely. Up.
These weapons misfire at such close range.
What are you talking about?
But I admit, they can still give quite a scare. When he wakes up, someone tell him it was a cap gun.
Fuck you, it was a gun, god damn it. But that's the thing. I think Nova Seed is a cool idea, but I just think graphic novel-wise, this could be great. You could either do it just as a big one-shot, like a nice done-in-one, maybe go like 100 pages. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a bad idea, or you can make it an ongoing. Maybe do like a volume a year or something. You know, aim for maybe 75 pages a year. Write it, get a really talented artist. DeviantArt is just brimming with some talented people through the forums that you could easily probably hire. Probably looking for work. I really do strongly believe this could be a thing, and I think that if he went graphic novel and he took it to Kickstarter, this could be really impressive. This could be one of those groundbreaking indie titles that you hear about. You know, go to like Image Comics. They're all about supporting the creator. You create it, you own it. That's how the rule works at that company. Go to Image. Who knows? I could see this thing easily probably being like elected for like a Hugo Award. Because there is a good story here. There's a cool concept here. It just needs a bit more to elevate it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I completely agree there. I won't go the route of just saying that you need to go to the graphic novel route. Because I feel that sometimes you completed your project, you're happy with your project, and you should just move forward with it. Just to move up forward to your next project. And I feel that you definitely have the chops to really go forward with the animated movie scene. And I'm really looking forward to whatever you work on next. Because I know right now you're still showing your movies in different theaters around Canada and such. Like, there's actually supposed to be...
Yeah,
there's supposed to be one, like, nearby in Toronto.
Like Nova Seed got so many fucking accolades. Like, what was it? Official selection at Image Film Festival 2017. Official selection the Ohio 24-hour Science Fiction Marathon. Boston Sci-Fi Film. Official Void 2017. Fantasia 2016. Gira 12 2016. Like this obviously you got this out there.
Yeah, you definitely got a name out there, and you definitely it's already a success basically. Like, you're definitely getting a lot more rewards than a lot of other independent animated movies have ever gotten. So,
hell, you're lucky if you could see an animated film get this much recommendation or acknowledgement. Most of the times, if it ain't the Disneys, the Pixar, or the DreamWorks, or the Blue Sky and effects, you know, it's pretty much overlooked.
Yeah, it just disappears from public consciousness, and it's just gone like that. But
yeah, it's like that. It's like that movie I told you about with oh god, the H.P. Lovecraft movie. I told you about Howard in the Frozen Kingdom.
Right, yeah, that.
And I'm like, dude, you won't believe it, Whyboy. They made like an animated movie of that, and nothing. We didn't like hear anything about it for like the longest time. And then like 8 months later, from when I saw the trailer, I was like in the store one day, and I'm like, oh, look at that! That finally came out. What the fuck?
It's that sort of opinion. You definitely got the chops to basically move forward with a new project to go anywhere that you want with this. And I just wish you all the best with this. And if I were just going to get this a rating, it's definitely a must-watch in the sense that it's definitely worth an animation fan's time to watch this. But just from my sort of own personal likability of it, when I think of the art style, the music, and all that sort of stuff, it's definitely a good watch. It's definitely a super interesting watch for just anyone who's interested in that sort of stuff.
So to wrap it up, you're going with a good watch on this? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give it that too. I'm going to go with a good watch. It is slow, and that is a slight detriment, but I am such a fan of the experimental stuff to a degree, because it's always a crapshoot. It's like playing the lottery. When it comes to the experimental content, sometimes you could come up all sevens and really take home a jackpot, or you can just crap out and you're screwed. This was a nice middle of the road, though. I really do think there's a lot here, and I really hope Nick does continue this. And even if he wants to continue this story, though, I still advise the graphic novel thing. I think would be brilliant, because I think you could just do so much great things on the printed page that, you know, think about it. Maybe because he animated this solo, it was a lot harder to do certain scenes. Maybe he even had to cut or augment stuff because he just didn't have the time, the resources, or the money. But if you go the printed page,
or you go to an animation team like Studio Yada, who's done stuff like for Ego Raptor and Ninja Sex Party. Like, if you found a team that could actually animate it with you, then you'd be able to like push out something that's even better than that. People that could actually help you like clean up the artwork and such, and basically get your idea to basically be like light years stronger.
Studio Yada. And those guys make quality animation. As a matter of fact, teaming up with them, I bet this could have been really killer. Like, even more so than it was. Because, like, you have the story. You have a good setting. You have a good setup. You have pretty good characters. A little more fleshing out wouldn't hurt you. You just need more of the animation to back it. This wasn't terrible. For a one-man wrecking crew, way to go. I'm going with a good watch.
And I will go with a good watch as well. Awesome job, Nick.
If anything, the only slight addendum is that I think it is a must-see in terms of if you're going to try and become an animator and you want to try some indie stuff, look at something like this. Never be afraid to go experimental. Never even be afraid to go primarily silent in your picture. A lot of things that people seem to forget nowadays, especially in the terms of the animation division, is you could have quiet moments. You could have a scene tell you so much just in terms of what the character does, who they're interacting with. There doesn't need to be noise every 5 seconds. It doesn't need to be like Teen Titans Go.
Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty. Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty. Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty. Scoot your booty, that booty, and I do the booty scooty.
I think Nick's onto something. And I really hope we'll see another film from him in the future. I really hope he comes back with another film and it's strong, and I hope he can step it up. Like, I'm not going to put this on him for not being as good as I think it could be, because first film, indie scene, I know how it is. I hope he could step it up, though. I hope he can get himself a good animation team. He could get down a nice, solid art style with a bit more definition to it, and that he can continue to push forth a story. This guy clearly knows what he's doing. Make it happen, Nick. You got this, brother.
Yep, all you just need is just a good team behind you to support what your core idea that you have.
Yeah, that's all you need, man. You know, a good team can go a long way. That's how ToonGrin happened. You know, I was a loser, and whyboy was somewhere. And then, you know, eventually we met up, you know, became fans of each other's work, teamed up. Now look at us. Our channel is growing a little bit each and every day.
Yeah. With friendship.
So, yeah, you know, but that, you know, guys, that's Novaseed, and it was a pleasant surprise. So many, yeah, we see so many films. We like to think of ToonGrin in a way as the underdog channel, in that we keep finding the lesser-known films. You know, the direct-to-DVD market, the indies, and we want to try and look at them and, you know, see if we could find those hidden gems in that area. And this was a cool hidden gem. I really hope it goes somewhere. I really hope it grows.
Yeah, I'll definitely just try to get it on DVD as soon as I see it somewhere. Because I only just got the digital copy right now. But a DVD of this would definitely be good in my collection.
I would love to see that poster they have, and I'd love to see my friend Verb redraw it, because he has such an amazing attention to detail.
Yeah, it's already such a bold image right there with the poster as is right now.
It is. I bet that'd look really cool. Well, guys, this has been Watchin Stuff. I'm Nero, and that's whyboy. And always remember
to tune in.
Oh, now I'm signing it off. I thought, fine, we got to really figure out better how the hell to do this, because it's like I just expect you to do it by this point, and that's like set up. What the fuck do you want me to do, goddammit?
We're just trying to share in the ending card. Come on, because we're a team.
ToonGrin?
We're a TM.
Yeah. We're a TM. We did TM work. Oh,
Remember,
God.
Nick?
SpongeBob the second movie, guys. It wasn't
Remember,
that bad.
Nick, TM work.
TM work.